I've had a couple questions from different members of the digital asset team about what it is that you can do with Braille on the Canton network. And over the last, I think, maybe more than a year now, we built in an incredible amount of functionality for Canton on the platform. And it has first class support, not only on the old token standard, but now on the new token standard, with a few things that are still in waiting. We have a mutual roadmap to make some updates, which is going to give us a little bit more throughput. But I wanted to talk about what the product does so that you could get a better idea of the types of customers that are making use of it. When we log into the product, we start to see what it is that customers use by default. So to begin with, there are two different types of customers at Brale, or two different types of accounts. One can create stablecoins and one that cannot create stablecoins but makes use of them. And so the account that I'm looking at right now has the ability to use stablecoins and doesn't have a tremendous balance, but represents maybe just what a business user would see. SBC is somewhat we use as like our example stablecoin. And a client can come in and utilize different stablecoins on different networks, including on Canton. So this particular account has a couple stablecoins in there, but let's go ahead and show you. So if I have a stablecoin on, let's say, Base, and I want to get it onto Canton, I can go network to network, and you can see all the different stablecoins that clients have deployed, which they have decided that they want to be public. Some of those have somewhat funny names. Some of them are obviously very professional. It depends on the differences in each individual project. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to swap from Base to Canton, and behind the scenes, you're going to have a burn on Base and a mint on Canton. This goes through our core services, which acts a little bit like Circle CCTP, but for Braille issued stablecoins. And so we'll give this a minute here. Transaction is complete on Base. You can see it right there. That's the burn transaction. And then it will move to the mint transaction on Canton. You can see it's minting on Canton. You don't actually need to reload the page, but I'm just being a little bit impatient. And so in all of these transactions, because of some of the difficulties with previously predicting gas fees or the bandwidth fees on Canton, we just pay all the gas fees off for our customers for all the activities. You can see the transaction is complete. The customer never had to load up CC or anything else to make use of it, nor did they have to load up ETH to use Base. And the transaction has been completed. So that particular customer now has, or me as the customer, has, you can see, $28 more of SBC on that particular chain. So you can see customers have also deployed a number of their own stablecoins. There are other customers that have deployed that have made their stablecoins available to other customers. So let's say I'm CUSD or the Send team, and then I want to make my stablecoin available to other Braille business users, OTC desks, market makers, so on and so forth. That can be acquired through our portal. Let's just say I want to get access to CUSD. I can swap my SBC to CUSD whenever I want. Let's see here. I want to go to CUSD from SBC, do it on Canton because I just put it there, to CUSD. Where are you? On Canton. So we'll just move all the money. So this functionality is also going through our own central service, that CCTP-like functionality that works between all of our issued stablecoins on Canton, on Solana, on Hedera. Canton, again, has absolutely first-class support between all of these other ecosystems. So these stablecoins become interoperable with one another, and it becomes very easy to go between them. Oh, great. That's already complete. Depending on the stablecoin that's being used, sometimes it takes a minute. Also, depending on network activity, you can kind of see when things go through a little bit faster versus not. Looks like the balance needs to be updated there, but here we go. You can see my $75 in CUSD. Now, let's just say, for example, I also want to take that. Let's say I'm holding my custom stablecoin on Canton, and what I really want to do is I want to get into SDC or a Paxos issued asset. I can instantly swap my Braille issued stablecoin that I'm running for my company, or in this case, I'm using a CUSD from Send. And let's just say I want to get USDC on, let's say Solana redemption amount. Let's do This, what it's going to do is actually it's going to burn the custom stablecoin on Canton, so USD from send, and it's going to fund the redemption in USDC on my destination wallet. Again, what's happening behind the scenes is burning the CUSD and funding it in USDC. Okay, great. So that was instant, no cost, pretty fantastic. I could go from a privacy preserving stablecoin on Canton to another privacy preserving stablecoin on Canton. We can also swap from Canton back to other stablecoins. So we have other clients that are currently running on different blockchains. Solana is a very popular blockchain for payments companies because of its cost and throughput. But as you can see, there are, at least with, assets that have been shared with all customers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different stablecoins that have been deployed by customers on Canton as is that are in use in their daily operations. There's also lots of other stablecoins that get deployed that clients decide they don't want to be public. So what I've shown you here is basically that you can custody assets on top of Canton behind the scenes. These are Canton wallets that are holding these stablecoins, as well as other assets that we manage on our custody infrastructure. Brale is a regulated entity that can hold digital assets, stablecoins, for customers. Across all of these networks, our customers never have to pay gas fees. We abstract all of that away and bill it back at the end of the month based on what they use. So this is the core of everything that we do. And while I'm not showing you the flow to effectively create a new stablecoin, I'll switch over to a different account and do that in a bit. So let's say I want to mint another stablecoin on Canton. I can go in and basically put in an order, and the order feels a lot like a Circle Mint account. So everybody who creates a new stablecoin with us, by default, you get this functionality that just works out of the gate, or you can treat the account like a Circle Mint account for your custom stablecoin. Now, obviously, issuing the stablecoins is another thing that we are able to do because of our licenses in the United States. All right, so let's say I want to mint on Canton. So if I want to mint on Canton, I can come in here and just select what I want here. I'm going to pick $75 because I just got that USDC. And when I go through it, I can effectively fund it with USDC. I can fund it with an ACH transfer out of a business account, or I can wire directly in here, like in a Circle Mint account. I'm going to use an on-chain transfer to fund this. And the reason I'm going to do that is because it's just super fast. It's in real time. So what a customer here can do is they can create their own stablecoin on Canton. They can come in here and effectively buy the stablecoin or mint it, funding it with USDC. So they can bring in $50, $50,000, $50 million, whatever they want. And the mints will kick off and be processed directly to the Canton wallet. Now, that particular wallet could be any of the wallets that are custodied for this particular customer on any of these blockchains. So again, Canton is like the privacy preserving option, which we really are excited to get that out to more customers. But as you can see, like in the interface and everything else, Canton has first class support. You can also do things like send stablecoins via email and generate automations. And automation is basically a virtual bank account for this particular portal built in that binds a new bank account to the wallet. So if I want to say, create a new routing number and account number combination, because let's say I am going to wire this up to my Stripe billing, and I'm going to, as a business, have all of my deposits that come in from Stripe or Braintree or customer charges actually flow into this account and then mint on a stablecoin of my choosing. I'm selecting SBC because I'm on this page and it's a demo, and I want it to actually mint on Canton. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. What happens behind the scenes is that in real time provisions an actual routing number and account number combination that then you can plug into vendors or anything else to basically have money piped directly into the Brale infrastructure. When the funds are received, it will automatically mint a stablecoin in the custodial wallet on the party ID on Canton. So there's no like DFNS or something like that behind the scenes. This is our custodial infrastructure. We run the nodes. Okay. So this is what the front end of the application looks like before you get into actually creating your own custom asset. Something else that's really quite powerful about the Brale infrastructure is that when you create an account, you are provisioned wallets that are custodial. you can see in here my custodial wallets for Canton. And you can also manage teams. You can manage whether or not you want stablecoins to be shown in your dashboard or not. I actually probably should have cleaned some of that up before I did the demo. There are some kind of silly ones in there. Customers are able to call their stablecoins what they wish. When I want to create a new transfer, I can also, in the dashboard, transfer funds off the Dwala platform by adding it to the interface. So if I'm using SBC and I want to transfer that over to my either like my Send wallet or a Canton Loop wallet or something else, I simply use the transfer function. I select where I want the asset to come from. You can see we've done some testing here. I'll actually send this over to Alta. I'm a nice guy. I don't want to send them too much, but I will send them $1 so you can see how it works. So in this particular case, this is going to another party ID, and this can be a wallet that is custodial or external. That's an EOA, really whatever you think you want to transfer to. So you can also see that the custodial wallets that Brale holds on Canton for its clients are also usable with EOAs and things off platform. There are multiple teams, including the SBC team, that are building different wallets and functionality to leverage the privacy preserving element of Canton. So to recap, custody stablecoins, create stablecoins, mint them, redeem them, get the money off chain, on chain, compatible with any bank account in America. Other customers can come in and create their own stablecoins instantly. And this is all mainnet, all works, all is really running. Okay, so we also, on top of our platform, we're looking at is just like a generic business account that doesn't really have any special bells and whistles. So just by signing up in a $0 account, customers get access to all this Canton goodness and can utilize the product however they wish. In the event that they want to utilize or create an application of the API, they can come in and actually create API credentials right inside of the account without going through a long, complex MSA process. So a customer can come in and create an API credential that gives them the ability to do things like create additional Canton wallets. I'll come back and delete this later, but you can see you can turn the scopes on depending on what you want to have happen. Here's my API keys, which I will nuke after this, so no one can grab them. And in this particular account, I don't think, there is a little bit of API activity, none super recent. You can see not really transfers, but we have logs that are associated with each individual account and each individual API call for debugging. So if you were doing transfers and things like that through the API, obviously all Canton wallets would be included in the app activity. This is something which we think is extremely exciting. Customers are something called managed customers. So if you wanted to create accounts for your customer, if this were a account where Ben wanted to open custodial accounts for my end customers, I can actually do that through the endpoint for managed accounts. And so by supplying business information for my customer, I can open up custodial wallets on their behalf, assuming that they agreed to the Brale terms of service and all that good stuff. And when these accounts are created, they also get wallets associated with them. Canton wallets are one of the networks that we obviously support returning as a part of the account creation. If we go into the API itself, the API is extremely powerful. You're able to do all kinds of additional things, and I'll walk you through some of the API now. So if I'm generating an API key, it also is important to say, again, Canton has absolutely first-class support across all of this functionality. So you can open accounts for your customers with have custodial wallets. You can add external EOAs and addresses for outside accounts. You can also add external addresses that represent bank accounts. So if I'm a business building a fintech application and I want to actually use the API to debit an external bank account via ACH debit, I can do that in the API by creating an external address and then doing a transfer that basically cites in the source an external ACH debit associated with an ID that basically switches the value type to USD, transfer types to ACH debit, address ID associated with an account that has a Plaid token associated with it. So just like it shows here, you can actually then debit any bank account in America to a Canton party ID wallet balance custody that. You can then take what's sitting on that wallet balance and do another transfer if you wish to, if you wanted to get it off chain, and do n number of payouts by citing the source as basically whatever Canton, the transfer type would be Canton, The value type would be whatever stablecoin you have. Destination would be the address ID associated with an external bank account. And you can do something like ACH debit or ACH credit or even RTP. So in that workflow, you can debit a bank account, credit it to a stablecoin on Canton in a privacy preserving state, and then you can make payouts directly into any bank account in America via ACH, same day ACH, or even RTP. So if you think about the number of workflows there for payments companies, basically is what that means is they can bring in capital for payouts, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of payouts, payroll, so on and so forth, that put real US dollars into any bank account in America for whatever purpose, but fund that off a stablecoin that is sitting on Canton. So this is actually really exciting and really good for different payments companies who want to utilize stablecoins in different workflows. Let's see. I will send you a demo video of the API that goes into some actual examples. But again, anytime you use Canton in the API as a transfer type and a value type that's associated with it, you're using Canton in everyday transfers without the end customer really even thinking about it. And if what you want to do is you want to build an entire, let's say, like cash competitor that's got a routing number and account number associated with every Canton wallet on your P2P app, you can spin up a million automations. So basically every single Canton wallet has its own bank account bound to it, which is absolutely exceptional. Canton has first-class virtual accounts in a privacy preserving state, which we think is incredibly exciting. Brale as a regulated entity also has a series of more than a dozen correspondent bank partners that help us process, hold, and protect the fiat behind the scenes, all of which those things the developer never really has to think about. All the complexity is just abstracted away. Again, Canton has first-class support in all of this. You notice some things that are probably getting a little bit out of date. We've been with Canton for so long that we've worked on things before the token standard, after the token standard. There's been a lot of changes, and hopefully we're right on the edge of many more really exciting ones. Okay. So everything that I've done here is to show you how it works with regulated stablecoins using Circle, and Paxos issued assets have parity as well. So you can bring in Paxos or Circle assets, mint your own stablecoins on Canton, and then move them into the Canton ecosystem. I'm going to delete that because we don't need it hanging around. Let's see, what did I miss here? You can add your own team. You can add those external addresses. There's no charge for additional seats. Now, everything I have also showed you inside of this particular portal is a part of the free package. So the amount of functionality you get here for $0 a month, I think is unparalleled on a number of other chains. I don't know if anyone else has functionality like this for stablecoins for businesses on Canton that has anything remotely close to parity, but on some of the other blockchains that we work on, this certainly has way more functionality and more API functionality and connectivity with US bank accounts than other providers. Our pricing is also non-egregious. It looks like bank pricing, quite frankly. When you engage in fiat transactions, it's $20 per wire, 25 cents for an ACH transaction. Creating a new virtual account is 25 cents a month for each virtual account. So far better pricing than with some other API providers that are working with on-chain ecosystems. As you go up the stack here at $10 a month, you can start creating your own stablecoins. As you pay us a little bit more, we share in revenue. The revenue split is 90% by default, and custom packages can include things like custom development of smart contracts, additional management or partnership with OTC desks or market makers. They also could include additional liquidity partnerships or third-party audits. They might have different reserve management functions. They might include custom assets. We have some customers who do things like even they have their own securities, which back their own stablecoin. They are their own securities issuer. And so we have like our standard reserve process behind the scenes. We hold our own accounts to buy and sell short duration T-bills, money market funds, and hold the cash accounts at banks. Those are also part of our regulated entity. You can see the regulated entity's license by looking up the NMLS number directly on the website. So inside of Brale, you get a stablecoin issuer for issuing stablecoin instantly on Canton. You get a full API suite to instantly move money into and out of any bank account in America directly into a stablecoin on Canton, the ability to get in and out of 20 other blockchains. If you have workflows that are multi-chain, and then also, again, pushing it back out into bank accounts via ACH or even RTP. So you have unparalleled real-time capability for money movement across very specific use cases. Again, great for payments companies that want to reduce costs, increase revenues. It's becoming certainly more and more important for us to partner early with emerging ecosystems. Canton is one of the perfect examples. Because we were so early with Canton, we're able to work with some of the early ecosystem partners. And I think many of them are also just waiting and really excited for the increase in throughput to start making use of the network. Canton is the only privacy preserving network that we have online at the moment. So I think it's a really great opportunity for us to dive in. From an ecosystem perspective, we also really love to work with ecosystems just like you to work mutual opportunities to increase network usage. So where there's an opportunity, particularly with payments, B2B companies that need to get on chain or need custodial infrastructure, we're a really excellent partner for getting the money into Canton and a regulated portal for creating new assets if they wish. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few things, but I'll stop there. That's supposed to be a short demo and I'm already over 20 minutes. So I just wanted to make sure to share some of the functionality. I know I didn't show them in functionality because I'm going to send a different video for that. Also behind the scenes, the stablecoins that are issued have reserve attestations that are associated with them. Any of the assets that are issued on Canton go into our call report. So Canton is also showing up on our call report, just like banks have call reports, money transmitters have call reports, and we need to disclose what the assets are that we issue. So Canton has been reported to bank regulators for a year now, and it has been a part of monthly audits since we brought it live as a part of our reserves, which was an initial concern about how reserves would work with privacy preserving stablecoins, which we proved we can do. Please let me know if you have any questions. We're excited every day to work with more folks in the Canton community